the first installment of the We Are the Bohemians podcast. And just to have this be said, most of the time there will be a whole group. For now, you'll just have to deal with me. I'm not that bad, I don't think. So, to move forward and get underway, the basis of today's discussion will be unconventional lifestyles, or at its root, Bohemianism. Bohemianism is the act of being a Bohemian. No, really, it is the practice of living an unconventional lifestyle, often with the company of like minded people, with really no permanent ties, though. Understand at this point, everyone has a family somewhere, so no permanent ties, meaning travel. In my opinion, I think it's always good to have a place called home, go home to a home base, but this world is too beautiful. Everyone needs to get out there and explore it. I hear too many people that stay in their same 10-mile radius or go to their one place, that it is out of their 10 miles. And it's like, why would you limit yourself? You're putting a box. You're like a horse with blinders on. You don't even see it. And I understand, there are so many distractions nowadays, but I don't know, to walk around with blinders, very scary. So, Bohemianism involves musical, artistic, literary, and spiritual pursuits. In this context, Bohemians may or may not be wanderers, adventurers, or vagabonds. I wanted to extend this to the Steve Jobs quote because not just wanderers, adventurers, vagabonds, but the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify them, or vilify them, but the only thing you cannot do is ignore them. Because the fact that they change things, they push the human race forward, and while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones that do. So, it's a little bit of a mixing of the wonderful and I think his most well put together quote. Steve Jobs, a huge um, influential person in this, you know, recent just revamping of the digital age. We've completely overhauled what we even thought was possible then, and look at where we are now. We still have so much more to go. I mean, Neuralink is actually a thing now where people are thinking of, down the road being implanted with a chip that connects our brains at like that quick of speed. And that's one of those things. I was talking about it with a friend today. What would happen? Really, just take a step back and think. I'm connected with Fred over here. Fred and I see each other's thoughts as they're happening, and we're able to understand our thoughts while we understand the other person's thoughts. So, where does emotion stand? What do feelings have? Do you feel to yourself the extent of their anguish? Because if you do, then that seems like a huge issue as far as you could look at it from a marketing aspect, but just as far as basic human-to-human interaction go, how would you how would you limit that? How would you structure that? Now this person's feeling your pain to the extent that you're feeling the pain. Does that now you could create some emotional, some empathy control, which could be dastardly, but it's a whole nother rabbit hole. But it's crazy that we're at this point. And so for someone like Steve Jobs to have that quote when he did, I just think it's such a crucial quote for our time and our generation. I mean, maybe not even just my generation, but um, the generation of humans that are on this earth right now. It's a pivotal movement. So uh, one of those, the bohemianism, very hippie-esque. It's unconventional. No permanent ties. Yeah, man. And then Steve Jobs, someone who made I mean, that was a movement. Apple was a movement. It's still a movement. Um, and I think that bohemianism is is the next movement. I think we're going to realize that all of these material things, like this camera that I'm talking into, this headset that allows me to use a voice, um, a cup of coffee, all of these things are going to become less and less necessary. People are going to, okay, maybe not coffee, but I feel like we're finally at a point where there's going to be a growth to what we need, and we're going to start scaling back until we find out what we truly need. And material things, we're not getting away from that, but we're really understand. People are starting to understand that they don't need X, X, and X. Why have a big 60-inch TV when you can get a 40-inch computer screen that will do just as much? Why have a California king size bed when you're living in a 600 square foot house? And 600 square feet, what? That's so small. It's really not. The amount of things that I've seen fit into a fucking 200 square foot house, it's crazy. So I think a lot more people now are scaling back, figuring out how to live with more while it's less. And to most people, more while it's less, what's that mean? It's less is less. Yeah, less material things and a greater standard of living, more fulfillment out of the life that they're living with less. Um, and I don't think it's about, oh, well, he's rich, he can afford a car. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, all these extra. Yeah, you got the money, go spend it on a house. Houses are beautiful, especially locations. Locations are beautiful. Go buy a house in a beautiful location. I'm not saying don't do that. But what I am saying is, stop thinking that it's these specific, the shiny object syndrome. Why buy the newest iPhone when one perfectly works? Well, I want to keep up to date. What? So you can keep up with the Joneses? Go chase them. Chase the Joneses. I love it. Go go spend a bunch of money to keep up with them. I'm looking to get ahead of them. Why would you? I don't know. This is it is funny talking to myself because the tangent I could have about just about everything could spin us down a rabbit hole of absurdity, but I will do my best to refrain from that. It's 7:51 Eastern Time, and my Monday has been good. It's been productive. It's been a little different, and one of the things that has not completely changed from my life is I still have a normal job. It's different, but it's normal. And that involves reading through this 1,600-page book and marking what we need for the business. These are things I would not want to do if given the opportunity. Given the chance to not, I would not. But for right now, it's where my loyalties lie. It's what's giving me the opportunity to stay where I am. And it's what's positive change in my life. I think. What's positive? Positive is always moving forward. I think I'm moving forward, but I also think it's easy to get hung up around here. The place I'm living is it's an area that's very well known for their turnover rate in work, and I don't know. Don't know. There's something wrong here. Something wrong in this county, but I'm doing me, and I am doing my absolute darndest to just keep up with what I need to do in my life. Um, yeah, I don't know. Don't think I got much more to add right now. This is the start of a great podcast series and an even bigger movement, but I don't know.